provide that data to us, and we upload that information. And the other interesting thing is that in parallel to this, in Europe, there is also a European Qualifications Data Register. So all of this information goes up on a European platform called Europass. So again, it means that anybody who's involved or interested in learning or interested in accessing information about courses can find this information out in Europe as well. So it's a free website, and again, it's just a matter of landing on the relevant page to find this information. So you might say there's information at your fingertips. Some of you, again, this is another resource that we have. Again, is to help you navigate your way through the education and training landscape. There are so many courses, there are so many options, there's so many levels. Qualifax is a website that we own and we manage at QQI for the benefit of yourselves, for the benefit of students coming in from school, making their CAO choices in the first place. I see somebody nodding, maybe you used it when you were back in school. But again, the CAO, the Qualifax has a postgraduate section as well. So if you're at the graduate stage and you're looking at your postgrad options, of course look at Qualifax, check out your options. When I often attend these events before, people were going out with all the prospectuses from all of the colleges. You don't need the prospectuses in many cases because you get all the information online, and it's there for you to look at in your leisure time. Qualifax, we update it regularly, we update it, it's free to access, it has a calendar of events, and this is something that I would highlight to you as well. We highlight events during the year, so when UCD or DCU have an open day, they have a postgraduate event, we would find information about that event on Qualifax. So we hold that information from one year to the next, and we update it on a regular basis. So I mentioned obviously as well that the postgraduate information is on it, and we're actually in the process now of revamping Qualifax, so we're doing a job on it at the moment. Now, I have to mention Europe. I have to mention the fact that we are Europeans and we're global citizens here. So many of us now travel around the world for our education. We travel to access programs, access opportunities for work. At a European level, there's a large amount of funding, I suppose, has gone into for mobility purposes. So there are opportunities for people to study and to find out information and also carry information with them when they're in the process of learning and working in Europe. So I talk about Europass, and Europass is a European platform. It's an information resource. As I mentioned earlier, it has the Qualifications Data Register, but you can also create your own e-portfolio on Europass. People say, is it like LinkedIn? It's not quite like LinkedIn because it is personal. It's your own personal profile, and you don't share it. When you create LinkedIn to some extent, you share your posts and your information online. But your e-portfolio is your portfolio. You have a wallet, and you can store all your credentials. And as you probably know, the way the world goes at the moment, everything is in your phone, and then everything can be on your Europass online, kept securely. And the idea is that you can actually upload digital copies of your certificates, your driving licenses, your passports, your photographs, your CVs, your job applications can all be held in your e-portfolio on Europass. It's a free resource developed by Europe for anybody to use. In Ireland, I don't think an awful lot of people know about it, but it is a very significant resource that you can use. And I certainly see it in Portugal, in Spain, in Italy. They are very keen on Europass. I mentioned there also a thing called Diploma Supplement and digital credentials. We all have a digital credential on our, well, not all of us. Everybody who got a vaccine in the last while has a digital credential on their phone because we have a digital certificate showing that we got a vaccine. And that is a digital credential. Digital credentials now for your certificates. So when you graduate from your college, the next step is for a digital version of that certificate to come along the line. Some of the colleges are already doing it, but digital credentials are soon to be, I suppose, graduate, that you will have an online version of your certificate. And you can see how online material is so important. If you have come from the Ukraine in the last 3 months, if you have digital copies, if you have online material, it's safe. It's safe, and you can bring it with you and you can present it to a college. It's so important for you to be able to do that. It applies to everybody, that you should have digital versions of your documentary material so that you will have it safe, secure, and for you to use then when you wish to share it with employers, to share it with colleges. The diploma supplement is one of the last things I'll mention. Have you anybody heard of the diploma supplement? No? Okay. When you graduate, you can access what we call a diploma supplement. And what that is a bit like an extended transcript of your results. It's a details of the college you've attended, the status of the college in that country, and then the reference to the National Framework of Qualifications and the European Qualifications Framework. And in Ireland it will be in English, but obviously if you're coming from a different country in Europe, it will be in the home language of that particular country. Again, you can have that digital diploma supplement, and you can have a digital copy of that, and you can put it into your e-portfolio, or you can just save it to your phone or save it to your personal files, but know that it's available to you for free from the college that you attended. So these are, you might say, tools to help you and help other people understand your qualifications. So if you need that kind of information, please jump onto Europass, jump onto the website of QQI, jump onto the website of the Irish Register of Qualifications and have a look. You can also send inquiries to us if you have a problem about applying for a particular program and you don't know what you have. But the best source of information is, of course, the college that you are attending. So arm yourself before you leave as such by knowing what it is that you are holding by way of qualification when you finish. I just wanted to show you what the Neuropathy Portfolio looks like. It gives you a screen, that's a screenshot of what it can look like. I think it looks well, and you can create that for yourself, and you can add, and you can subtract, and you can create so much that is specific to your skills and experience. And you save it, you complete it, you can come back to it anytime. It's there for you to use. And these are some other screenshots I just put up there. There's one I put in of myself. Again, create your portfolio. Go and play with it if you like, and create, make it look as well as you want it to look. Think about what you want to put into it and use it. So that's just a promo for Europass. I have it here. If you want to take one of these, just to remind you of what it is. And I have also here some copies of this. If any of you are actually in education, or if you're going back to your college and you'd like to take one of these, please feel free to come and take this here this morning. So this is just again some repeat of what I've been saying to you, and I've mentioned most of these things already. Again, check, know the level of your qualification, know what you hold, understand what it is, understand what it can access when you have it completed. And then information resources. We are the national contact point for Europass, so we are responsible for posting links like these to help you find out information if you need it about qualifications, about living and working in Ireland or Europe. So there's a huge amount of material available at your fingertips. Finally, again, quite a lot of our students go to the UK to do their postgraduate education. They got postgraduate programs, they go to Scotland, they go to Wales, they go to Northern Ireland, and vice versa. So we have a special, I suppose, comparability guide for those of you who wish to come from the UK to study here, or vice versa. Again, it's an important thing because the systems are different. And if you're in the UK, you might have a bachelor's degree, which is what they call level 6. And this is not a level 6 in Ireland, but it will compare to a similar level here. And this guide is available online that again is a very useful resource. It's called Qualifications Can Cross Boundaries. I'm just obviously quite a few links there for you to look at when you get a chance. The QQI, which is my organisation, the organisation I work for, the Quality Assurance Agency, we're responsible for the National Qualifications Framework. Enigmatic is for anybody who might have a foreign qualification, who is looking for advice about their foreign qualification and what it means in this particular country. Again, all of these resources are free. I've mentioned Qualifax to you, and I've mentioned the European Qualifications Framework. So I think that's really, there's a couple of videos. I know so many people like to watch videos. A few videos there to help explain to you what these different things are. So if you want to find out a little bit more, by all means, go and have a look at Euro Guidance. There's a video there about Europass, how to create your, it's a step-by-step guide, how to create your own Europass. Very clear, very simple. The European Commission have created ones again to promote it and to show you what it's all about. CAO and Qualifax, again, we have a video there. Excuse me. Micro-credentials is a word that you're going to hear. If you haven't heard the word micro-credentials, you're hearing it from me now. The government are backing small parts of training programs, you might say, for graduates and for people who are in employment to take on new skills. Excuse me. Micro-credentials are going to be a new form of qualification. Small ones, but hopefully valid ones in their own right. So it will happen. And digital credentials, I mentioned as well. We're in the digital world. We live in the digital world, so everything is digital, and there's going to be a lot more digital in your generation. So I'm not going to talk anymore because my voice is going, so thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Angela. That was, really interesting. Not a topic I don't think we hear kind of in detail and thread. So we have time for a couple of quick questions. One I'm going to put to Angela is about the differences between maybe the UK framework and the framework here, because obviously it's a nearest neighbour, and there might be quite a few people in this room when they come to work either in Northern Ireland or somewhere else in the UK. And I think it's important to maybe expand on the differences that there might be between the frameworks in the UK and in Ireland as well. So would you mind just expanding a little bit on that, the differences between the frameworks in the UK and Ireland?
Well, there are in the UK there's a framework of qualifications that are 4 different ones. Okay, so you have a Welsh framework of qualifications, you have a Scottish framework of qualifications, you have a Northern Ireland qualification system, and then you have an English qualification system. So there are 4 of them, and then they're divided up a little bit as well, so that you have what they call a higher educational qualification system and a further education and training qualification system. There we have established, as I say, comparability. So if you are coming from the UK or going to the UK, there is comparability across, you might say, the levels. It's not an exact science, but a bachelor's degree is a bachelor's degree. So there is that assurance that we're all part of what they call the European higher education area, and that Brexit doesn't matter, okay? Brexit, this type of thing is not related to Brexit. Education is bigger, this type of system is bigger than the European community, if you like. We're all signed up to the European higher education area, which includes many more countries outside of the European Union, but we're all part of the same system. So we do have comparability within Europe and further afield as such as well. So even if you come from the US and you have a bachelor's degree from the US, there will be comparability. But as I say, it's advisory information that we provide about qualifications, not legally binding. So you still have to demonstrate, you might say, your knowledge and competence around whatever qualification that you have if you're applying for a particular course. What you do, what I would refer you to is Qualifications Cross Boundaries leaflet. If you need it, you just Google it and you will find it. Mr. Google will find it or Mrs. Google will find it. Thank you.
Perfect, thanks Angela. Yeah, I just think it is important to kind of clarify the differences when you're applying for jobs in the UK, Belfast, London, etc. And then just a final one then for me is, I think something what I used to hear from my parents quite a bit is like, oh, well everyone has a degree now. You know what I mean? So, in your opinion, like your personal opinion, is a level 8 still as valuable as it would have been, say, 10 years ago, or has it kind of lessened a little bit given the kind of amounts that everyone here probably is doing a level 8? I think I'll probably ask one of the most difficult questions we'll get today, but
all education is good. All education is good, and from QQI's point of view, we have offerings at levels 1 to levels 4 to levels 10. And you know, every step along the way is important for that individual who takes that particular training program, and that might be the one for them. I mean, there's a huge push in Ireland at the moment for apprenticeship training, and we now have apprenticeships at levels 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And the idea is that there are jobs there for people who complete apprenticeship programs, and some of them may be on offer here today as well in terms of sort of technical apprenticeships. But obviously a degree, the bachelor's degree, is benchmarked at NFQ level 8. What that means is that it is associated with a type of knowledge, skill and competence that is agreed as established, you might say, standards for a level, for that level. And it means that you are capable of conceptual thinking, insight, research. You have a capacity, you might say, to generate your own ideas. You have a capacity to write, to report, to problem solve, depending on what discipline you're in. And as I say, there's a science behind the framework of qualifications. But the science, I suppose, will at least give you confidence that if your qualification is referenced on the framework, it is a genuine standard that has been met. And that you then, completing the program, leading to an award at this particular level, have achieved those levels. And that's the job of the colleges then that you're attending, that they have a program that ensures that you meet the standards over the time of the program that you're participating in. And that's generated obviously by all the tests and the exams that you do, that you demonstrate your capacity to achieve. Thanks.
Well, Angela, that was a good answer to a very difficult question. So I'd like to wrap things up now and thank Angela very much for her insights and time, and thank you all for attending and listening attentively. And yeah, Angela's available for questions at the end. You need to go up and talk to her personally as well. Our next seminar will be kicking off at 12:45, and that'll be all about how to improve your CV. So feel free to, go out and explore and come back in 10-15 minutes time for that one. But thank you very much.